There are moments in life when the world seems obsessed with the shine on the surface. Yet the soul knows the truth beneath. The face can wear a smile while the heart cracks. The voice can speak confidence while the spirit trembles. And society, ever in a hurry, judges the mask, never pausing long enough to meet the human being behind it. Appearances lie. Character doesn't. Before we continue, if messages like this matter to you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It truly helps this community grow. We live in a world that rewards the image before it recognizes the person. People are measured by their clothing, their status, their performance, yet none of these tell the story of their heart. A polished exterior can hide a crumbling interior, and a quiet, humble presence may carry the strongest courage. What you see is rarely the full truth. Who you are is the real testimony. Character is the voice that speaks when the crowd walks away. It is the choice you make when no one will ever know. It is the strength that keeps its promises, the courage that admits its faults, the honesty that refuses shortcuts. It is the light no darkness can counterfeit. Character cannot be borrowed. It must be built. Appearances are easy, instant, shallow, performative. They bend to pressure, they shift with the moment. They are mirrors reflecting whatever others want to see, but character stands firm. It does not adjust itself to win approval or applause. Appearances attract attention. Character earns trust. True growth happens in silent moments. When you forgive someone who never apologized, when you help someone who cannot repay you, when you choose truth even though it costs you, when you rise again after failing, unseen and uncelebrated, these small choices shape a life worth living. You cannot control how others see you, but you can control who you become. Build depth, not display. Choose integrity over attention. Seek to be good, not merely to look good, because appearances fade fast. But character stands sturdy long after the world has forgotten your face. If this message stirred something in you, if it reminded you of your own worth or your own journey, I ask you from the heart, please like the video, share it with someone who may need strength today, and leave a comment. Your voice matters here. Special request before ending, comment below. I choose character over appearance. Let's strengthen one another with truth. Appearances often deceive, because the human mind is naturally drawn to what it can see before what it must take time to understand. We live in a world wired for quick judgments. A polished look is mistaken for confidence, silence is mistaken for weakness, and a mistake is mistaken for a person's entire worth. People tend to believe what is visible, because it feels easier than understanding what lies beneath the surface. But human beings are far more complex than the impressions they give. The quietest person may carry a universe of wisdom. The one who looks strong on the outside may be fighting battles no one sees. The person who doesn't dress the part may possess a character richer than gold. What we see is never the full picture. Yet society encourages us to react instantly, to form opinions quickly, and to rely on appearance as a shortcut to understanding. This is why so many misunderstandings, hurts, and misjudgments occur. We forget that the eyes can be fooled, but character cannot. Character is the part of a person that remains steady when everything else changes. It is the truth of someone's values, choices, and intentions. While appearances shift from mood to moment, character reveals itself in consistency. A person who is honest today, honest tomorrow, and honest when no one is around shows more beauty than any outward charm. A kind heart does not need a spotlight. A loyal friend does not need applause. A person of strong character does not need to convince others. They simply live their truth. When we pay attention to character instead of appearance, we begin to understand people more deeply. We start seeing strengths that cannot be photographed and goodness that cannot be displayed on a surface level. Human sociology shows that people crave acceptance, so many shape appearances to gain approval. But approval earned through image fades quickly, because it is not rooted in who we truly are. Approval earned through character lasts, because it connects soul to soul. When someone trusts you for your integrity, respects you for your humility, or admires you for your courage, that connection is real and lasting. Appearances can attract attention for a moment, but character draws respect for a lifetime. Appearance may be the first thing people see, but character is the truth they remember. True greatness is measured in quiet choices, not loud impressions, because the deepest parts of a person are revealed not in moments of performance, but in moments of privacy and sincerity. Society often celebrates those who stand in the spotlight, assuming that visibility equals value, but human sociology shows that meaningful impact rarely comes from noise. It comes from consistency, from the decisions people make when applause is absent and no one is watching. A person who does the right thing silently has more strength than someone who announces their goodness to be praised. Loud impressions may grab attention, but they rarely reflect the real person behind them. People can appear confident, successful, or admirable on the surface, but what defines them is the pattern of choices they make day after day, especially the ones that seem small. Every quiet act of patience, every moment of self-control, every decision to stay kind even in conflict builds a life of genuine greatness. Many people work hard to create impressive images because they believe appearance is the fastest way to earn social acceptance. This is a natural human tendency, as everyone wants to feel valued and recognized. But the truth is that real value does not grow from attention, it grows from authenticity. Loud impressions are temporary. They last only as long as the performance continues. But quiet character builds a foundation that cannot be shaken by pressure, criticism, or failure. A person with genuine greatness does not need to be seen to feel worthy. They find strength in doing meaningful work, learning from mistakes, and contributing to others without expecting praise. Human sociology also teaches that people can sense sincerity even when it is subtle. They may not immediately notice your quiet sacrifices or responsible choices, but over time, these actions create trust, respect, and admiration that cannot be faked. Greatness is hidden in moments that no one celebrates: waking up early to improve yourself, refusing temptations that would damage your integrity, speaking kindly to someone who is hurting, staying humble when given power, and standing firm in your beliefs when others try to sway you. These acts may not be glamorous, but they carry a quiet power that shapes your identity. Loud impressions fade the moment people lose interest, but quiet choices build a reputation that lasts longer than applause. People may forget what you looked like or how stylish you appeared, but they will remember how you treated them, how you carried yourself in difficult times, and how you made choices that reflected strength instead of ego. Integrity is who you are when no one is watching, because that is the moment when your true values rise above the pressure to impress or conform. When the world's eyes are on you, it is easy to behave well, speak politely, and choose the right words. But when the room is empty and choices are made in silence, the real measure of your character appears. Human sociology shows that people often adjust their behavior based on their audience, naturally seeking acceptance and approval. Yet the most honest version of a person is the one that shows up when the reward for good behavior is nothing more than self-respect. Integrity is built in these private spaces. When you tell the truth even though lying would be easier, when you keep a promise even though no one will check, when you help someone quietly without expecting recognition, and when you choose discipline over comfort simply because you want to become better. These unseen actions shape the strength of your character far more than any public performance ever could. Living with integrity means you refuse to betray your values for short-term gain. It means you stand firm even when the convenient option tries to pull you away from what you know is right. Many people place their energy into crafting a perfect image, hoping the world will admire them. But an image is fragile. It breaks the moment someone sees behind the curtain. Integrity, however, is unbreakable because it does not depend on external approval. A person with integrity speaks the same truth in private as they do in public. They show the same kindness to someone who cannot benefit them as they do to someone who can. They remain honest even when dishonesty seems harmless. They remain loyal even when tempted by opportunity. This consistency becomes their identity, and others learn to trust them because their actions align with their words. Integrity also influences the way you see yourself. When you honor your values, you build inner peace, confidence, and self-respect. You no longer worry about being exposed or misunderstood because you are not living two different lives. Your conscience becomes lighter, and your heart becomes stronger. Human sociology reveals that people naturally gravitate toward those who are steady, reliable, and genuine. Integrity creates that kind of gravity. It draws people in, not with charm or appearance, but with depth. It shows that you are someone whose words have weight, whose promises matter, and whose presence is safe. Integrity may not always bring immediate rewards, but it builds a foundation that supports lasting success, healthy relationships, and a life of true fulfillment. Appearances deceive because they are shaped by what people want others to see, not by who they truly are. Human sociology shows that individuals often present filtered versions of themselves to gain approval, avoid judgment, or protect their vulnerabilities. This makes appearance a flexible mask, shifting with environments and expectations. Someone may look confident on the outside, but feel deeply insecure. Another may appear calm yet be silently battling fear or anxiety. A person may seem successful based on clothing, status, or social media, while struggling privately with stress or emptiness. Because appearances are influenced by emotions, surroundings, and social pressure, they cannot provide a complete or reliable understanding of a person's true nature. They are temporary reflections, not permanent truths. Character, on the other hand, does not bend to social pressure. It shows itself through consistent behavior, repeated choices, and the quiet patterns of how someone treats others. When you observe character, you see honesty in moments where lying would be easier. You see responsibility when excuses are available. You see courage when fear whispers louder. Unlike appearance, character cannot be worn like an outfit or adjusted like a facial expression. It is the unfiltered version of a person that remains steady no matter the situation. That is why character reveals a kind person even when they are tired, a trustworthy person even when tempted, and a strong person even when life becomes difficult. People often misjudge others because they focus on appearance rather than character. They may believe someone is arrogant when the person is simply shy. They may assume someone is uninterested when the person is quietly observing. Human sociology explains that the brain uses quick judgments to process information faster. But these snap judgments are inaccurate more often than we realize. When we take time to look beyond appearance, we begin to understand people with greater compassion. We see their efforts, their struggles, their intentions, and their heart. This deeper perception builds stronger relationships and reduces unnecessary conflict. Focusing on character over appearance also transforms the way you view yourself. When you stop worrying about how others see you, you can focus on who you truly want to become. Your worth becomes rooted in your values rather than others' opinions. You start choosing actions that reflect integrity, kindness, and strength instead of choosing actions that simply make you look good. Over time, this shift builds confidence that no one can take away, because it comes from your inner truth, not from external approval. Transformation begins when we focus on building character rather than polishing image, because real change grows from the inside out, not the outside in. Many people spend their energy trying to appear confident, successful, or admirable to meet society's expectations. Human sociology shows that individuals naturally chase social validation because it feels rewarding and immediate. But this kind of change is shallow. It creates pressure to maintain a perfect image and fear of being exposed. When people live only for appearance, they hide their struggles, ignore their growth, and pretend to be stronger than they are. This prevents real transformation because pretending replaces improving. True progress begins the moment a person stops asking, "How do others see me?" and starts asking, "Who am I becoming?" Character building requires humility, patience, and self-awareness. It calls you to confront your weaknesses instead of covering them. It teaches you to develop discipline, not just display confidence. It asks you to practice honesty, kindness, and responsibility even when no one is watching. These quiet changes shape the core of who you are. When you build character, you shift your focus from looking good to being good. You stop relying on image to gain approval and start relying on your values to guide your life. This kind of growth is slow but powerful. It strengthens you from within, giving you resilience that appearance can never provide. Transformation through character also makes you more authentic. When you stop polishing your image, you allow yourself to be real, imperfect, and human. You learn to accept mistakes as lessons, not as things to hide. You begin to value progress over perfection. Human sociology teaches that authenticity builds stronger relationships because people trust those who are genuine. When you live with character, others feel safe with you. They know your words mean something and your actions are sincere. This creates connections based on trust rather than performance. Focusing on character also changes your sense of purpose. You stop living to impress and start living to improve. You wake up wanting to grow, not just wanting to be seen. You choose habits that support your future instead of habits that please the present moment. Over time, you become stronger, wiser, and more grounded. This internal transformation becomes visible naturally, without effort. Your presence becomes more powerful not because you polished your image, but because you strengthened your inner foundation. The world may admire appearances, but the world respects character. When you choose inner growth over outward perfection, you build a transformation that lasts. A fulfilled life comes from depth, not display, because true satisfaction grows from who you become, not from what others think of you. Society often teaches people to chase visibility, recognition, and outward symbols of success, but human sociology shows that these rewards are temporary and fragile. The attention you receive today may fade tomorrow, and the achievements you show off may lose their shine over time. When your sense of worth depends on how impressive you appear, you begin to live in a constant state of comparison and pressure. You worry about being good enough, looking successful enough, or keeping up with others. This mindset drains the soul because it forces you to perform instead of allowing you to grow. Real fulfillment does not come from impressing others. It comes from knowing you are living with purpose, integrity, and alignment with your true values. Depth is created through experiences that challenge you, teach you, and shape your character. It grows when you face difficulties with courage, learn from your mistakes, and choose to become wiser instead of bitter. A deep person does not depend on external approval to feel whole. Their foundation is built on inner strength, self-awareness, and emotional maturity. They find meaning in contributing to others, improving themselves, nurturing relationships, and living with honesty. These qualities cannot be measured by appearance, but they determine the quality of your life far more than any outer display ever could. When you develop depth, you begin to feel grounded, secure, and free from the need to please everyone around you. Human sociology also shows that people feel more connected to those who have depth rather than those who merely present perfection. Depth creates trust because it reveals sincerity. It creates respect because it shows wisdom. It creates comfort because it shows understanding. A person with depth listens without judgment, speaks with intention, and loves with authenticity. They do not seek attention because they are busy living a meaningful life. Their presence alone inspires others, not through performance, but through genuine character. Display may attract eyes, but depth attracts hearts. Display may create popularity, but depth creates impact. Display may bring momentary excitement, but depth brings lasting peace. A life built on display is unstable because it depends on external factors. But a life built on depth is stable, resilient, and fulfilling because it comes from within. When you choose growth over appearance and character over show, you create a life that feels rich even in silence and meaningful even without applause.